Hi everyone, this is Aviva from Ulpan Aviva, and I'd like to give you a short little lesson that you can use when you're learning Hebrew, something that confuses many English speakers, and that is, when do I use the article et? Israelis seem to be saying et all the time, and many people don't know when and how to use it. So I'd like to share with you how to use and when to use the article et. So I've prepared a little PowerPoint for you, and we'll have basically a short little lesson. Okay, so when do I use the article et? Instead of teaching you Hebrew right away, I'm going to go into a little bit of an English lesson. So let's look at an English lesson. I want to talk about the article a. Okay, here's a sentence. I am eating a banana. Or another sentence, they are learning a new word. What is the point of this a? Okay, when do we use it in English? So of course, if you've done any kind of English learning, you'll know that a is an indefinite article. It comes before an indefinite article. And basically, when you see a in a sentence, you know that the next word is going to be a non-specific noun, just a word, not a specific banana or not a specific new word, just a banana, a new word. Okay? So in English, the indefinite article a or an comes before a non-specific noun. That's all very nice, but when you translate this into Hebrew, the a doesn't translate. It doesn't exist. Hebrew does not have an indefinite article. Let's look at these sentences in an example. So if I were to translate word for word the sentences that I gave you before, so you have I am, ani. Why we don't have am in Hebrew is for another lesson. So I am, ani, eating, ochel or ochelet if I'm female. Then you have this a, which in Hebrew doesn't exist. And then you have the banana. Ani ochel banana. And if you hear Israelis speak when they're translating into Hebrew, into English, and they haven't learned about the article a, you'll hear Israelis say, I eating banana. I eating banana. They don't know, a lot of times they don't know how to use the article a because it doesn't exist in Hebrew. Or if we go to our second example, they are hem, learning, lomdim. Okay, then we have this a again, and then we have new word, right? Milah chadasha. If you've noticed in Hebrew, the order of the noun and the adjective is reversed to the one in English, but again, that's a lesson for another day. So again, in English, I am eating a banana, but in Hebrew, ani ochel banana. In English, they are learning a new word, but in Hebrew, hem lomdim milah chadasha. There is no parallel to a in Hebrew. Okay? Well, that was great. We had a nice little English lesson. Now let's see why I've gone through all this. Because in Hebrew, we have the exact opposite. This is before a non-specific article. But if in Hebrew I'm talking about a specific article, I've got the et, which doesn't exist in English. So let's see in English, when I do talk about something specific, I am eating the banana. Now it's a specific banana. I don't have a or an. I have the, which indicates it's a specific banana. Or the same about learning new words. They are learning the new word. Okay, I don't have an a, I have the instead of it. Okay, well, now we're talking about specific nouns. Let's see the equivalent in Hebrew. Okay, there's no a in English, but there is the. Now let's go to the Hebrew and see what we learn here. So in Hebrew, a doesn't exist. But in English, in Hebrew, instead of something that comes before an indefinite article, we have et, which comes before a definite article, right? The preposition before the definite article, other than the, we have the word the, ha, okay? It's a prefix, it's not a word, but it's prefaced by the word et, and we'll see some examples in a moment. Okay. So let's look at our examples. Still the banana. Okay. Ani, I am. Ochel, eating. And now it's not any banana, it's the specific banana, right? So ani ochel, et, which doesn't exist in English. Ha, the banana. Okay. I am eating the banana in English. In Hebrew, ani ochel et ha banana. There is no equivalent to et in English. You have the ha and the, which are the equivalents, but the et has no equivalent in English. Let's look at another example, and this one's a little bit different. The sentence is they, hem, they, ohavim, love or like, hem ohavim, et, which doesn't exist in English, and then you have a proper noun, Tel Aviv. Okay, hem ohavim et Tel Aviv. In English, we would just say they love Tel Aviv. There is nothing before the word Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv is definitely a specific noun. It's a real noun, but there's nothing that comes between the verb and that specific noun. Whereas in Hebrew, if you have a verb and then a specific noun, you will always, well, not always, you will put et in front of it. Now, why did I say not always? That brings me to my checklist. So when do I use the article F? Two primary things you need to think of. The first is it between a verb and a specific noun? And the specific noun could be either something that has the or a real noun like Tel Aviv or Moshe or David. Okay? And the second rule is that there is no other preposition that comes with that verb. Okay? So there are some verbs in Hebrew and in English that have a preposition that always goes with them. For example, going to, speaking with. Okay? Also in Hebrew, holech le, medaber im. Well, if you have a preposition already, you don't use it. Okay? You only use it when there is no other preposition. To learn about the verbs and their specific prepositions, to learn about other examples when you use ha, to practice et ha, please join my Ulpan. I'll see you there.